Forbes' real-time snapshot placed Larry Page near the top of the global wealth list, with his fortune tied mainly to Alphabet. This episode is not about admiring money for its own sake. It is a business case study. How the fortune was built, what assets drive it, what setbacks shaped it, and what a normal viewer can actually learn from it. Larry Page's wealth begins with a research question at Stanford. How should the web be organized when millions of pages are all pointing at one another? Page and Sergey Brin turned that question into PageRank, then into Google. The search box looked simple, but the business behind it was extraordinary. Google matched user intent with advertising at global scale. Then the company expanded into YouTube, Android, Maps, Chrome, productivity software, cloud computing, and artificial intelligence. Page stepped away from daily executive life, but his Alphabet ownership remained a claim on one of the most profitable technology systems ever built. The wealth came from building a gateway that billions of people used every day. His public operating idea is often summarized as 10x thinking. If a team is only trying to improve a product by 10%, it may miss the chance to rethink the whole category. That kind of thinking can be expensive and messy, but when it works, it creates markets instead of merely competing inside them. The lesson is scale with usefulness. A tool that becomes more valuable as more people use it can become a compounding machine. The major business and asset map is Alphabet, Google Search, YouTube, Android, Google Cloud, AI initiatives. The publicly documented lifestyle angle is a deliberately private public profile, California technology circles, and long-running interest in future transportation and advanced technology. The main work principles are 10x thinking, technical leverage, systems that improve with scale, hiring exceptional operators. The main setbacks and risks are privacy criticism, antitrust pressure, expensive moonshots, AI competition. Now look at the fortune like an editor reading a balance sheet. The headline number is dramatic, but the mechanism matters more. Larry Page's wealth is not sitting mostly as cash in a bank account. It is tied to ownership, market valuation, private company estimates, and assets that move as investors reassess the future. That means the fortune can change quickly, sometimes by billions in a day, without the person buying or selling anything. That is why the asset engine matters. In this case, the main map is Alphabet, Google Search, YouTube, Android, Google Cloud, AI initiatives. Each asset tells a different part of the story. Some create operating profit. Some create strategic control. Some create optionality, meaning they may not be the biggest source of wealth today, but they could matter more if the market shifts. There is also a timing lesson. Huge fortunes usually come from being early to a structural change and then staying exposed to it for a long time. The change might be electric transportation, search advertising, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, enterprise software, social networking, sports franchises, or global retail logistics. The public often sees the famous person after the outcome is obvious. The wealth was usually created years earlier, when the bet still looked uncertain. This is where the business map matters. The companies, products, and ownership stakes explain far more than the headline ranking. Viewers should understand the difference between salary, revenue, profit, ownership, and net worth. A billionaire ranking is not the same thing as cash. It is a mark-to-market estimate of claims on businesses and assets. The habit pattern is also worth separating from the mythology. The useful principles here are 10x thinking, technical leverage, systems that improve with scale, hiring exceptional operators. These are not magic personality traits. They are repeatable work behaviors, choosing a hard problem, staying close to the product, using feedback, hiring strong people, managing risk, and making decisions with a longer time horizon than the average competitor. The lifestyle section should stay disciplined. The publicly documented angle is a deliberately private public profile, California technology circles, and long-running interest in future transportation and advanced technology. This belongs in the story because viewers expect it, but it should not become the story. The editorial framing is simple. Lifestyle shows what extreme wealth can buy, while the business engine shows how the wealth was created. The setback section is where the episode earns trust. The known risks and reversals include privacy criticism, antitrust pressure, expensive moonshots, AI competition. These moments matter because wealth stories become misleading when they only show victories. Every empire has pressure points: regulation, execution, public trust, changing technology, debt, competition, succession, or consumer backlash. For ordinary viewers, the lesson is not to imitate billionaire behavior out of context. Most people cannot copy the capital base, access, timing, or tolerance for loss. But they can copy the clearer habits, learn a valuable skill, understand how money flows through a business, build or own productive assets, avoid lifestyle inflation too early, and think in years rather than days. The final beat should be practical, not worshipful. Ask, what did this person understand before most people did? What asset did they own while that insight became obvious to the world? What risk almost broke the story? And what is the smaller version of that lesson that a normal person can actually use? The practical lesson is clear. Wealth at this scale usually comes from ownership in a compounding asset. The viewer does not need billions to use the lesson. They need sharper judgment, useful skills, better risk control, and the patience to build or own things that become more valuable over time.